Of Texas EquiSearch is now suing a local medical examiner as he fights for closure in the murder of his daughter more than 30 years ago.
Channel 2's Robert Arnold is live tonight with a story you'll see only on 2. And Robert, when it comes to the case of his daughter Laura, what is Tim Miller alleging?
That the Galveston County Medical Examiner's office has never properly handled her remains. This is actually the second time Tim Miller has sued the Galveston ME's office over this issue. The first time came when he says he had to bury his daughter, Laura Miller, twice because the family was not given all of her remains for the initial burial. Then, last October, Miller says he got a call from the ME's office saying more of Laura's remains may have been found in a file box 3 decades after her murder.
Do you think it's right that now I've got to bury the same child 3 different times because of your all's mistakes?
Tim Miller filed this lawsuit Friday against the Galveston County Medical Examiner's office. Miller's daughter, Laura, was among the so-called killing field victims in the 80s and 90s. He says his daughter's remains were initially mishandled by the ME's office, which prompted the first lawsuit.
You know, here we are. It's just one of the thousands of mistakes that have been made in that case.
Miller said when the ME's office recently found human remains in a box bearing Laura's case number, they first sent the items off to be tested, but those tests couldn't happen without having DNA to match. So the remains were sent back to Galveston.
The League City Police Department told them, oh, we asked Miller for his DNA, and he refused to give it to us, which was a 100% lie.
Miller says this is why he's hired well-known Houston attorney Tony Busby.
They have compounded this pain over and over and over. And so we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get to the absolute bottom of it.
An attorney for Galveston County, Paul Reddy, claims they did try to work with Miller.
Mr. Miller went out and hired an attorney, and things got antagonistic, and the cooperation sort of broke down.
Reddy also says Laura's remains were handled by the former medical examiner, who's now deceased and is the one who settled the last lawsuit.
You can't sue the county for breaching a settlement agreement that we weren't party to, right? The county did not sign the settlement agreement in question back in the 90s.
Miller balks at that argument and says this episode only deepens his pain, but he will keep fighting.
I'm not going to say I wasn't close a few times. I'm not ashamed to say I'm still going to therapy over it. But I can tell you this. To my dying breath, I'm there. I'm there.
The first order of business will be to test those remains to determine if they are in fact Laura Miller's. The attorney for Galveston County also says that Tim Miller actually signed over the rights to his daughter's remains during the initial investigation in the 80s. As you can imagine, Tim Miller disputes that. Miller says League City Police still consider him a suspect and that he recently had to take a polygraph, which he says he passed. For those not familiar, none of these murders have ever been solved, but they are the sole reason Texas EquiSearch was founded. Reporting live, Robert Arnold, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Robert.